Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and to the ranking member, to my friend and colleague, Senator Boxer, Senator Coates, who does a great job on the Intelligence Committee, and other members who are here today. I had the privilege of meeting with the former mayor of Newark, New Jersey, who was a great mayor, and it's going to be a great United States Senator. It's good to see you. And Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for your support for many years on the Senate Intelligence Committee and for the role you have played so very finely. So thank you very much. Member Thune, members of the committee, and fellow witnesses, I believe civilian drone technology, much of which has been developed in California, has great potential for both beneficial uses and for job creation. But the unique capabilities of the drone bring with it significant risks, most notably related to privacy and public safety. I believe we should proceed with caution and that Congress must act to set reasonable rules to protect the American people and ensure that this industry can reach its potential. Today, the commercial uses of drones is prohibited by FAA regulations unless a special permit is granted. FAA has issued cease and desist orders against violators and has imposed a $10,000 fine in at least one case. Law enforcement use of drones is carefully restricted and only legal with special permission from the FAA through a certificate of authorization. But the 2012 FAA reauthorization bill requires integration of drones into the airspace by 2015, and many believe this will be a booming industry in a few years. The potential is significant. Drones can come in all shapes and sizes, with many potential uses. The California National Guard used drones to observe the recent rim fire, huge fire, right outside of Yosemite National Park in California, helped firefighters be identified in dangerous situations and reduce containment time. Drones can be used for agricultural purposes to help monitor crops more efficiently. Drones are likely a safer, more affordable way to inspect wind turbines, radio towers, pipelines, bridges, and key national infrastructure. Some have imagined more unexpected uses. For example, Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos recently suggested that his company was testing the use of drones for delivering packages within 30 minutes of an order. FedEx, look out. But as with other evolving technologies, there are new risks to consider as well. Let me first address privacy. As chairman of the committee on which three of us here serve, I have seen firsthand the surveillance capabilities of drone aircraft. Drones have the unique capability to peer into private homes and businesses and listen to private conversations. Obviously, civilian drones will not be the same as those used overseas for national security operations. But the drone exhibited to the Judiciary Committee in a hearing last year was very small and very lightweight. Such drones can take high-definition photos and videos and even transmit them to the user's iPad. I personally, well, I'll tell you the story. I was being a demonstration in front of my house, and so I went to the window to peek out and see who was there, and there was a drone right there at the window looking out at me. Obviously, the pilot of the drone had some surprise because the drone wheeled around and crashed, so I felt a little good about that. What kind of camera was mounted on it? What kind of microphone? Could an enterprising person have fastened a firearm to it? These are questions that demand answers. Even with civilian drone technology in its infancy, privacy concerns are significant. So I believe we should take very seriously and move on with steps to protect the privacy and safety of our fellow citizens before these capabilities are developed and unleashed, not after, so that people will develop and build the industry to be able to adhere to certain privacy restrictions. How close to a home? What is it? Can you photograph inside windows? Can real estate agents take drones and sweep out close down by a house and photograph a house from a drone? All these are questions that have to be answered. So I'm working with you, Mr. Chairman, on legislation to do that, and I want to be as helpful as I can, but I think first there should be strong, binding, enforceable privacy policies that govern drone operations, and that can be done before the technology is upon us. A large drone might survey an oil pipeline, and a tiny remote helicopter sold to hobbyists shouldn't be subject to the same rules. So the system must be flexible, but it must be strong and enforceable to ensure privacy is protected. Secondly, we need strong privacy protections for government use early on. We know today that the FBI has used drone technology in at least 10 cases, including one to ensure the safety of a kidnapped child. Now, that's a beneficial use of drone technology. But were this technology to be deployed on a widespread basis by the government for persistent surveillance, it would pose significant privacy concerns. Therefore, I believe a search warrant requirement with appropriate emergency exceptions would be the way to go. Safety is another issue. A 2012 GAO report highlighted a number of safety issues with respect to drone technology that have not been addressed, including the ability to sense and avoid another aircraft. We've heard reports, and I can't say this is true, but I've read it in the newspaper, of a drone flying too close to an aircraft landing at JFK Airport, and of small drones landing in crowds and endangering bystanders. The FAA has a broad safety mandate, and it must use that authority to protect the public. Finally, we should not allow armed drones in the United States, period. It should be a crime for a private individual in the United States to arm a drone. The FAA should use its certification and licensing authorities to prohibit armed drones. And no government, state or federal, should use an armed drone on American soil. There's one other thing I want to say. The drone was invented in this country. As such, we have a real responsibility. There is a long line of countries that want to integrate drone warfare into their militaries and into their civilian commercial populations. So I think since we invented it here, that we have a real responsibility to be the first in the field with the regulations by which they will be operated and by the privacy restrictions by which people will have their rights protected. So I think the technology has great potential, and I think we really need to make sure as a first step that America's legitimate concerns about privacy and safety are addressed. And I think you are just the committee to do it. I thank you for asking me to be here today.